Hey, what's up guys, CBK here bringing you another Marvel Spider-Man 2 video. Today I want to talk about this idea of a playable Venom in Marvel Spider-Man 2. This has been a hot button topic among the Marvel Spider-Man community, and I wanted to throw out my thoughts on it because the more I talk to people about this idea of a playable Venom, the more my opinions on it evolve. But before I get into my thoughts, I just want to say if you enjoy this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button for me. Marvel Spider-Man is just about the only thing I cover on this channel, so if that sounds good to you, this might be the channel for you. With that being said, let's swing on into the video. So in a recent video I did, I brought up a major concern of mine regarding the character of Venom in this game. It's very likely that Harry Osborn is going to be Venom in Spider-Man 2, so my concern is that there won't be enough time to flesh out a relationship between Harry and Peter that I really care about. In that video I mentioned that Insomniac would have to find creative ways to flesh out this relationship between Peter and Harry so that way we feel emotionally connected to their friendship. They did a fantastic job of building up a relationship between Otto and Peter in the first game, and that's what made the ending of that game so impactful. But I'm not sure there's going to be enough time in this game to slowly build a relationship between Harry and Peter. That is, unless we're given like flashbacks of what their friendship was like in the past. But then the other concern of mine came out of nowhere as I thought about this. Is Insomniac really going to give us a retread of the storyline we had in the first game? Hear me out. Peter has a close friend that he deeply cares about. Said friend has an illness. The only way for his friend to combat this illness is the reliance on this technology, or in this case the symbiote, that turns them into a person that they don't really want to be. It sounds familiar, right? How do we fix this problem? How do we keep from feeling the same experience all over again? Well, the only solution I could think of is to make the villain of this game a playable character. This is an idea that I've been against for a while, just because we're already going to have two playable Spider-Man in this game, so I feel like adding Venom to the mix would just be a little too much for a story that I'm hoping is fully centered around Peter Parker. And I must admit, I still am a little concerned about balancing all of these characters. However, adding Venom or Harry as a playable character not only gives us a new perspective of this story, but it could potentially make Harry a more sympathetic figure within the story. This would put us in the shoes of someone who is deathly ill and is completely dependent on this symbiote to sustain life. This will show us something new and will take a storyline that feels familiar but gives us a new perspective. It will give us a reason to care about Harry because we see firsthand what he's going through. I want to say that I don't care to have a ton of missions as Venom. I'd like to see maybe one or two action-based missions, and the rest of the missions can be character building experiences for Harry. I joined a live stream on News to Astonish's channel recently, and Evan Villarca came up with a really cool concept for the opening of this game. I'll play that clip for you guys.
Like the title menu, right, was the Spider-Man one was just Peter on the side of that little pole looking out to the city in the sunset. Miles was in the subway looking at his phone, just chilling. That's cool. Marvel Spider-Man 2, imagine it's just the tank and the green Harry's there. It's gotten worse. Or there's more of the symbiote everywhere, and then just you press X and then boom, you just start the game with Harry, which I'm begging for.
What if it's a night one? What if it's a quiet night menu?
Venom, which I would love. I would also love to see that, but I'm begging for kind of a Last of Us 2 style thing where you play as the antagonist. Not how badly they did in that game, because I'm personally not a fan of that game.
No.
Sorry to you fans who are. But for the concept, right? The thought of not playing as Peter or Miles, but Harry Osborn outside the tank, and you're walking around like all ill and like sick and what's going on, and then you discover the symbiote's on you, and then it transitions from him kind of understanding what this thing is to eventually meeting Peter somehow for it to transfer onto him to become Black Suit Spider-Man.
I love this idea for the opening of the game, playing as Harry. It would allow us to feel the fear and terror of waking up with this symbiote. I could see him stumbling and trying to regain his consciousness while being confused by the voice that he's hearing in his head. This would set the tone for the game and give us a perspective on what life is now like for Harry. Again, making him a sympathetic character in this game. This is a similar storyline to the first game. Peter now knows what it's like to have a friend who is sick and desperate to do anything to save themselves. So Peter now has to decide how to help Harry. I'm sure Peter feels a lot of the blame for the way Doc Ock turned out. He didn't respond quickly to any of the signs, and he was partially responsible for creating the arms that helped Doc Ock become the villain. So Peter now would be faced with a dilemma. How do you help a friend in a situation like this, so that way you don't repeat the same mistakes? These are the types of story elements I hope to see in Spider-Man 2, and I feel like making Venom Venom Playable in small spurts would help drive this narrative. So that's it for me on this video, guys. I'd love to know what you think. Would you like to see Venom Playable in Spider-Man 2? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. But that's going to conclude this video for me, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.